Welcome to Yildiz Readings 5D. Okay, we are here to dive deep into the weekly astrology. We cover it week by week for each zodiac sign. Please join us and subscribe. We also have an additional section now, which is the members zone for twin flames, pre-release video content, and more. Also, have a look at the merch. Let's get into the astrology for the week and see what comes up for your zodiac sign. Before I forget, if you are wanting a booking, the link is directly below. If you have any questions in relation to this video, please feel free to drop me a message and I will get back to you as soon as humanly possible. Now for tips, tools, tricks, transits, and the astrology, please up and I can give you those details to help you safely guide you through this year's transits. As above, we do have the 2021 forecast for all your zodiac signs. That is a detailed report as to how the transits will affect you, what dates they're occurring, and what houses they will occur in. So keep those for reference. I'll try and pin them in the videos so that when you need them, they are easily accessible. Now, moving into the month, we do have the new moon occurring on the 13th in Capricorn by the 23rd, and we do have quite heavy placements this week relating to that Capricorn placement. Now moving into this month, we do have on the 13th the new moon in Capricorn, and it will be at the critical degree point. So any aspects linking to Capricorn are deeply important that you really focus on to get the best out of this week so that you can have that brand new beginning by the end of it. We also have Mercury in Aquarius, and that occurred on the 8th and it will continue. So our thoughts, our connections, our speech, our movement will be in the bigger picture of things. We have also Venus in Capricorn, very similar to the moon energy, taking that direct responsibility and accountability with our marriages, contracts, partnerships. Now Mars also had moved last week out of Aries, so we do have some reprieve, and it is in the house of Taurus, and it will be till March the 3rd. We do have quite heavy hitting energies linking to Taurus at the moment. Uranus and Taurus will go direct by the 14th. We also have Lilith and Taurus facing our shadow, deeply important, and Mars and Taurus. Hard to think then. Okay, so the squaring aspects that will be occurring this week is between Mercury squaring Uranus on the 12th and Mercury squaring Black Moon Lilith on the 14th, the day of Uranus and Taurus going direct. Mercury also goes in shadow by the 14th, so get that paperwork in order to be prepared. Okay, Pisces. Now, on the 9th, we do have the moon transiting Sagittarius, and you can have emotions relating to your career sector come up. You also may be looking at where you've been versus where you're going and how you can implement some changes to maybe take on a new vibration on things you're working on. Now, this can relate to your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Also, very separately, if you're not working, emotions can be coming up around this. Now, you may be pouring your energy into your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and this can be social activities also. Very separately with Venus in Capricorn, it can have a lot of elements relating to marriages, contracts, partnerships, and pastimes and social experiences that you share with those individuals. Now, the moon is also making a quincunx to Uranus and Taurus. Now, the moon currently is transiting Sagittarius, and with this expansion and change, you may need to shake things up a little bit. You also may need to pay attention to that expansion and the expenses when it does come to these pastimes. Now, the second aspect, which is occurring on the 9th, is the nodes quincunxing the sun. Now, there are 3 quincunxes this month, so it can be heavy innings when it does come to sudden changes and decisions that need to be made. Now, this can relate to, with the nodes in Gemini, your 4th house of home, your daily routine, as well as your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. And it can be that at a drop of a hat, a circumstance relating to home, the push-pull energy can come to a head. Now, very separately, it can be a sudden move. It also can be the steps you're going to take to transform either your leisure activities, your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, and potentially even if you're working from home, things that can come out of left field. Very separately, facing our shadow with Black Moon Lilith quincunxing the moon, it's the axis of your 3rd house and your 10th house placement. So emotions relating to your work, to the things you're working on, and your communication. It might be a bit of a trigger point, but also your routine. The travels and the commute to and from work, if you're currently working, can come up into play. And it can be causing a little bit of tension, but it may be, again, facing our shadows to do, again, with our finances, our ability to do things with that 3rd house placement. And also healthy boundaries, effective communication, so to speak, can be necessary during this time. Now, with the nodes quincunxing the sun in Capricorn, what you may find is the balance between your hopes and dreams. If you're creating a business and you're doing something that's home-based, the time that it's taking, but the changes that you need to make. And there can be sometimes no right answer. It's just different ways and different paths for different folks. The testing element of things can be your psychology when it comes to your routines, trying to attend to everything, trying to make sure everyone's okay. Mercury will be squaring Mars in Taurus, so it's the axis of your 12th and your 3rd house, and your daily routine, your communications, the hustle and bustle of trying to get everything together. You may feel a little bit overwhelmed and underwhelmed at times with everything is needing. You also may be really tuning into circumstances in your life that feel deeply complex, and how to see the bigger picture of why certain things have happened. So the things you are working on and your creative ideas, being able to articulate it can take a little bit of time. Continue to persevere with that, especially when it comes to marriages, contracts, partnerships, interconnections. It should start flowing, but it is the bigger picture of what you're wanting to achieve. So you may find on the 9th that you're in that meditated state, but really pretty busy, so to speak, and sudden changes can come about on the 9th. Now on the 10th of January, we do have again the moon transiting Sagittarius. So it is the south node. There is transformation happening in that domain for you. And this can be to do with your hopes, dreams and aspirations. And, really reflecting back and looking at those things that you resonated with. It can also be that of what you've learned. Your value system can be changing. It may be you wishing to go on a holiday and go, overseas, so to speak, with Sagittarius being Jupiter energy. But whatever that hope and dream is, whatever those old energies were versus the new ones, emotions relating to the past and your career can be coming up. So, if it's a hobby, if it's something that you're wanting to do to pour your energy into, it's going to give you an opportunity to look outside the box, but pay attention to your emotions of what potentially can come up. On the 10th, we also have that. So we're moving pretty much from the 8th last week's transit through to the 10th, where we do have the moon transiting Sag. Now we do have on the 10th, Mercury in Aquarius making a conjunction to Saturn in Aquarius, and your creative ideas can really actually have some growth. Spiritually speaking, you being able to share and be on the same page as other people may flow, providing we're taking responsibility. But there can have circumstances coming out where you can have light bulb moments in relation to what you want to do creatively. Venus in Capricorn is making a trine to Mars and Taurus, and this creative project can generate net worth and finances. But again, you may be able to move about and communicate effectively when it does come to networking as well as landing grand jobs. Okay, now on the 11th, we have the moon transiting Capricorn. Now, yes, we do have the new moon on the 13th in Capricorn. So we have a couple of days prior to that effect where we are tying up these loose ends, very much relating to your 11th house. So it can be your hopes, dreams, aspirations. It might be friendship groups. It may be not seeing eye to eye with certain friends and maybe changing friendship groups, but very separately. It can be a very busy time. Now, if you have been working on projects or you're about to consider a new way of being and new things to pour your energy into, this can be the time in which you are achieving those things. You may find as it transits, you can be reflecting upon the past as well as looking to the future as to where those areas are going to be. So emotions relating to responsibility can come up at this point. We also have the Sun in Capricorn at this time until about the 19th, where it then transits over into Aquarius. So both the Moon and the Sun transiting Capricorn can bring about for both vibrations of emotions as well as the energy you're pouring into things. So it's really important to pay attention to what comes up for you personally when it does come to your hopes, dreams, and aspirations. You know, it's not a one-sided transaction. It's really asking us, with the Sun there, what actions are we taking to make those things happen? And if we don't know what they are, spending the time to really work through those details. We have Mercury in Taurus making a conjunction to Jupiter in Aquarius, and some of those creative ideas can really come through. And again, this growth and this movement and these changes, both with your thoughts and communication coming on this day, might be really testing you. So sometimes you may find this week that the stresses maybe that you're enduring when it does come to people's viewpoints, people's values, their expectations on you, may be a little bit testing and fatiguing. So try and pace yourself through this. We also have beautiful aspects relating to Mercury in Aquarius, sextiling Aries and Chiron. And any subjects relating to your wounds, which is second house placement, they can be more tamed and they can flow on the 11th. Now, Mercury is hitting your third house, so you may be more inclined to speak softly, to speak with understanding, to have that good self-talk, as well as the actions that you take may be there to help and enhance that net worth value. So, you know, taking the direct steps, taking the action to pull the budget and to change things about and to be able to achieve some of those things. Now that we have Mars exited Aries, that was a tongue twister. Yes, Aries and Chiron is there for 7 years, but Mars is transiting different signs. So at the moment, it is in the house of Taurus, and you can find that communication, that movement, your daily routine, things flowing, those situations can come through more effectively, as well as your communication style. Now on the 12th, we're really guided to, with the Moon transiting Capricorn, is to not stand in our way when it comes to our hopes and dreams, not allowing circumstances to define the outcome. Yes, at times we can feel doors are closed, but squaring aspects and oppositions can cause tension, which we do have on the 12th. But it's really moving through those dynamics, and maybe really, I would highly suggest in 2021 to journal some of your emotions, especially because you do have 12th house placement there with Aquarius, creating those healthy boundaries with individuals, being able to feel that you're part of a tribe, part of a family, and you're understood, not misunderstood, can be very, very important. Also being able to be your creative self and to be that vivacious energy that you are may be deeply important at the moment, and you can be showing up in that fashion where you're wanting to change some of those things, both about yourself and the circumstances and the way you've seen things. 12th house can also be a beautiful state of enlightenment, but it also can be the house of our imprisonment and the house of our undoing. So if there is something where you feel you're personally affecting yourself with your growth emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, it's a great place for it to evolve beyond that point, to see that we are limitless with our potentialities. On the 13th, we have the new moon in Capricorn, and it is at the critical degree. So hopes, dreams, and aspirations and pastimes can really have a new beginning. Also, you might be starting new hobbies. new things that can grow and assist you. Some of these things can be really assisting and aiding in richness, and this can be cash components through the 11th house. But the things that you're doing for individuals, it can be that you've learnt that element of responsibility, but you've also learnt the element of where other people's hopes and dreams are very much their responsibility. And yes, we can empathically understand, but really tuning into what our direct hopes and dreams are. With Mars and Taurus squaring Saturn and Aquarius, the day-to-day routine on this day can be a bit testing. We also have the nodes quincunxing the moon in Capricorn. Now the nodes connected to Gemini, for you can relate to a family and a home related dynamic as well as your daily routine, and balancing those areas can be a bit testing, and there can be emotions that relate to family on this day or a circumstance relating to home related dynamics and your emotions of over responsibility for some. On the 14th, we have the moon transiting Aquarius, and themes relating to both Saturn and Jupiter can come up, and your belief systems in relation to such. We have Venus and Capricorn on the 14th, trining Uranus and Taurus, and yes, on this day, Uranus and Taurus goes direct. So with the trine between Venus and Capricorn and Uranus and Taurus, communication relating to your marriages, contracts, partnerships, as well as linking to your hopes, dreams and aspirations, the social activities you do, they can be coming up with you and they can flow beautifully. Separately, we also have these hopes and dreams having conjunction points with the actions you're putting into things and the things you're needing to pull down and change around, i.e. running a business, website looks messy, going and cleaning it so it flows effectively. It's quality systems in a sense, but it's also looking at what is going to last, what isn't, and there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, what we need to do in our lives to change those things up. It might be a point that just comes out of left field due to the fact it's a conjunction. But it can also be looking forward into the future with Uranus and Taurus going direct on the 14th. Sudden changes relating to the things we need to end, the things we're launching. It can even be tying up those loose ends when it does come to creative projects. Overall, facing our shadows and our fears are going to be deeply important on the 14th, but beautiful aspects can occur with this transformation. And some of that movement you may have is a reprieve and, an ability to flow around more. Some of you may have purchased vehicles. Some of you, it may be you've tied up your loose ends when it comes to burdens and responsibilities, and you're having a little bit more free time. And some of you, it's just the communication factor, feeling like you're able to communicate with others and speak your truth, but it should ease up. Now, as to the transformations, I really feel both with the second house and the third house, your self-esteem is growing, and the way you see yourself is going to be very different. So your self-expression, the way you're showing up, it can very well be your appearance and things to that degree. It can be actually observing past tense scenarios with that 12th house, thinking on maybe unfinished words, unfinished situations, and trying to resolve those things. Now, last but not least, and I do have information after this point, so we're talking more based on the date, not the video. We have the moon yet again transiting Aquarius, so your spirituality. Between the 14th and the 15th, yes, nervous system energy can come up. It's good to eat food groups to balance the nervous system. Uranus and Taurus can link to such. Also, because it is Aquarian energy and it does connect in with your 12th house, guided meditation, keeping your fluids up, maybe even journaling to understand some of these things. And also, not being so hard on yourself. If you've been stuck and you felt that you couldn't heal certain emotions, the 12th house is there to help you heal through these processes. And it doesn't have to be alone. Aquarius is social. Your mind may crave these connections, and this may attract these connections also. But certain things can end, certain situations can be a little bit more difficult during this week. But it doesn't mean to say that there's not going to be transformation in your life. You can have beautiful aspects relating to home, and changing your routine may be necessary. Fourth house placement can bring that about regardless. You also, for some of you, could be working from home due to the fact that Gemini is a local energy. Now, food for thought. Remember, we do by this stage start getting the effects of Mercury and Aquarius going in shadow. Now, anything relating to things that you're stuck on, you're trying to work things out, it might be analytics and things to that degree, try and get it done this week. As we do move into Mercury retrograde, it will link into your 12th house. This can also be things relating to your responsibilities. It can be the house of enemies, the house of secrets and hidden resources, but it's also whatever's coming up in your subconscious mind. Is there a situation playing in your life that's really testing? Do you need to clear the air? Is there something in your control that you can do to change that up? And definitely making healthy boundaries with other people, as well as allowing them to do their work and you to do yours. But it can just be all these creative ideas, really, having a lot of downloads and needing to journal them out. Pay attention to that. But if you do feel you're dealing with very, very difficult circumstances at a psychological level, definitely, go and actually get that change. Have that change so that no longer the mind becomes a prison and, you can live in that harmony. But I do really feel for a lot of you, this can be very psychic in nature, and it can be a beautiful, transformative time of enlightenment and change. Now, we do have the join button on YouTube now. Yes, it is a separate section. All the other creative content I create, you will continue to get. That will not change, point blank zero. It shall increase. Your weekly video, Pisces, will be here next week. As I go, I may open these up earlier and earlier as I pre-record the astrological aspects. If you do want this content earlier than we get, you can jump onto the join button, which is the members zone. Separately, I have the twin flame updates in there in the private room. We deem it as a private chat room, as well as I do coaching in there. And separately, if you do want to have a look at the merch is able to be customized. So if you wanted to put your name on it or any memes, you're able to. And I thought it was a fun way for you guys to interact with the merch and personalize it. Separately, I will see you live. Please keep an eye on the community tab. I do super chat during the lives. If you have any questions, I'll do moon energies, twin flame updates, any psychic downloads I get, I come to you live. And the additional content, as I mentioned, will be coming week by week. See you next week, guys, and during the month for the lives.